I would like to begin by thanking Dr. Baugh and Paul for the opportunity to present what I think are some very unique fossils and rocks that I found in central Alberta, Canada. The first item that I'd like to present is what I think could very well be a giant's head. It is about 20 inches high with a circumference of about 52 inches. And the head is the rock is very similar to what a head looks like. And pretty much anybody that looks at it recognizes that. It has the forehead and two eyes are quite visible, the nose, and where the mouth is, there's actually a crack in the rock. And when you zoom in on the face, you can clearly see the oval of the eye. The second eye is also quite visible, although not exactly the same shape. So I actually had the head examined by a X-ray technician, but it was too thick and dense to get any meaningful results out of it. But I have what I think may well be even better than an X-ray, because there was a second rock in the same stone pile that I found this one in, and it split open. And there's an awful lot of structure in this rock, what I think could well be a representation of the lobes of the brain. If you see all this kind of structure in it, there's a lot of it, and it could very well be, I think, the lobes of the brain. There's also quite a bit of this dimpled material, and it is very similar to this organ here, which is one of the organs of the brain. So I guess the determination of whether it actually is a head will remain up to the individual of what he sees in it. In the same rock pile, I found another very large rock, and I think it has the clear representation of the humerus of an arm bone found in the same field. This is the original rock that I found. It was just laying in the grass, and I could see that it was quite different than anything else that I have ever seen. And when I brought it home and put it up, and had the second top part put on it, it looks very much like the arm bone the shoulder arm bone. And this is where the broken shaft of the bone would be. It's about 10 inches by 18 inches across. And this is a good side view picture of it, demonstrating that it really does look like a bone. And when pictures, of course, don't do justice to it. It's much more dramatic in real time. The next item that I've present is a rock that I found in the north end of Edmonton, Alberta. It was on a construction site I was working on, and it looked quite unique. So I threw it in the back of my truck and brought it home, and it was quite dirty, and I washed it up. And as I was washing it, I could see that had the representations of what I could be a distal limb bone, and that's what one of the paleontologists I had sent a picture of it to said that it is reminiscent of a distal limb bone. So this fellow probably would have been 100 feet tall or more if it actually was a bone. Here are two very unique pieces that I found in a couple of gravel pits. This one here, somebody drew a happy face on it, but it's a ball, and this one here is a ball, and you can actually see what I think may be the shaft of the bone. Could it be a hip bone? This is what a hip bone looks like. You can see the ball and the way it's angled at about a 45-degree angle. I'm throwing that out there and to see if anybody has a opinion on it. Yeah, it would be much appreciated to have feedback on it. Now, as far as giants in history are concerned, there are lots of stories in the Bible about the giants. Everybody's familiar with Samson and King Og, but in the 6th chapter of Genesis, it also talks about free-flood giants. And the book of Enoch talks about giants that were 3,000 ells high. So how high that is there is some dispute on that, but some of the commentaries say that could be up to a mile high. And one of the sites that you could go to is Michael Tellinger site. And he's from South Africa, and he's found these artifacts in South Africa. And these represent, they're larger bones than even what I found. So he's saying that if you consider the story of in the Bible and Enoch, that 3,000 ells could well be a mile or higher. So, and thinking about large giants, there's also, not that one, this one, many large footprints have been found around the world embedded in granites. This again is Michael Tellinger here with a footprint that's 4 feet tall or long. There's quite a few of these sites that whether authentic or not, I guess we'll have to try and figure that out. So giants in the past were much, much larger than we've been told by mainstream geology. The next specimens that I'm going to display are items that I found in about 4 or 5 different gravel pits in the area. And the first item is what looks like the perfect representation of a dolphin's head. I had a grandmother bring her grandchildren over, and a 4-year-old looked at it and she immediately recognized it and says, "Oh, that's a dolphin head." So I found about 6 of these. This one here, you can see the bulbous head. It looks like a beluga whale. There's another bulbous headed dolphin possibly. This one here, the full body I think is there, and it appears to be almost like a seal if it's not a dolphin. And I found quite a few of these rocks with a bulbous head and a nose appearing on the bottom. Again, these are too distorted to say with definity that they are actually dolphins, but I think that's a good possibility. I also found what I think are 6 different turtles. 4 of them I have represented here. This one here is about 3 feet in diameter, and you can see where the neck would have come out and the legs protruded from this way. And on the other side of it, it has the appearance of the shell, although it is somewhat distorted. These other 3, I think, because they're broken on the front like that and flat on the bottom, I think these may well be turtles too. This one is an actual turtle found in the Badlands of Alberta. The other item that I found in those gravel pits I think, could possibly be 2 alligator or crocodile heads. This one here has the representation of, there's the snout, and here you can see the socket of the eye. And this one, it has again the representation of a crocodile head, and you can actually see what appears to be the teeth marks along the edge of it. So this one here, I'm doing a little bit of guessing at it, but I brought it home again because it stood out amongst the rest of the rocks that are in the pile. It looked like a beak, and in my research, I ran across an article that had shoebill bird, and it says, well, that kind of looks like it, or perhaps the dodo bird. Again, is it? I'll leave that up to you to decide. Now, as I walked the gravel pits, I ran across 5 of these smaller stones. They're about 3 inches long. And again, they had a very unique appearance. And so I just brought them home and started looking at them, and they really do look like a duck head. So, and I think everybody's probably aware of the saying that if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. Yeah, well, today you don't know, but in my world, yeah, it's probably a duck. So anyway, these are 2 items that I found. These are probably about 30 inches long, and I clued into what they could possibly be because of the dolphin head. And I says, perhaps this is the whale flipper bone. This is the socket, and this one here, the ball is broken off. You can see on the top where the bone would have been latched onto the ball and the arm come out. So is it a whale flipper bone? well, we'll try and figure that out, I guess. So this one here is very clearly, I think, a vertebrae, because it has the circles of the vertebrae bone. It is probably the bottom half, possibly, of a whale vertebrae. So it clearly is something, and I can see the representation of a vertebrae. Now I ran across 5 of these here with these knobby protuberances out of these ball rocks, and again, because of the uniqueness, I threw them on the back of my truck and brought them home. And in the course of my research, I ran across what lung labioli look like, and they really do look exactly like lung labioli. Are they the lung labioli of a whale? Again, I'll have to leave that up to the audience to decide. So in walking the gravel pits, I ran across many unique stones, and anything that stood out, I would always throw into the back of my truck and, of course, bring them home. Some of these rocks, in my research, I ran across a fellow called Stellium 7, and I clued into the fact that these may actually be hearts. This particular one really does look exactly like a heart. And there are 4 white dots on the top of it that where the arteries may have come out of the heart. These here have the shape of a heart. To authenticate what I'm saying here, I would ask you to go ahead and check out Stellium 7's research. He's a chiropractor from Spain who's done some really amazing work on what gravel pits or gravels and rocks actually may be. They may be far more interesting and than we can imagine. So anyway, there's a lot of these in the gravel pit. You can go to pretty much any gravel pit and you'll find them. Now the next bunch of specimens that I'm going to show are, I have no idea really what they are, but they have such unique shapes and forms that I think they have to be something. What they are, I'm not sure if it's a full bones or anyway, if I have someone in the audience that has any ideas that what they may be, I'd appreciate the feedback. This one here, you know, they look like the ball of a bone. This one has such a unique shape that, yeah, quite interesting. This one I do have an idea. When you see it in real time, it actually does look like a big toe. So I'm calling it a big toe for now. These here look like a teardrop, what they are. This one here is pretty close to not a perfectly round ball, but very close. So again, this one here, very unique shapes. This one here is could be one of the labioles of a lung. This one, yeah, it's anybody's guess what they are. This one here also does look like an orca whale, if you see it in real time. So very unique shapes. I think what we're seeing here may be parts of bodies. This may be the back end of a dolphin or something. There's or a shark. There's the back tail, and this could be the top fin. Again, is that a fin? This one here could be I think it could be a horn of some sort. So yes, these are quite unique shaped rocks, and what they are, again, I'm up for suggestions and input from whoever sees them. Again, this to me looks like the full part of a body of something. So this one and this one are the same, and this is the same rock. This one I found, this is exactly how I found it in the gravel pit. So I've made a couple of videos of the rocks and fossils that I found. So you're welcome to watch them at your leisure. And again, if anyone has any feedback, it would be much appreciated. This is all presented on my website, noahsfossilfarm.com. So you can view that at your leisure, and thank you for your time.